All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harukat Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I want to start out the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 15, verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And we can see this brewing up. What do we see brewing up? Civil war. Okay, we see that about to take place. You can see the sedition among men. You can see the acts, or the positions of rebellion about to take place. Why? Because this whole, presidential election thing, you got groups of people that are not standing for it. Well, what do I mean standing for? You got groups of people, especially those, let's just say, for the house of Edom, Esau Edom, which is the so-called white people. You have a lot of them saying over their dead body, will they allow a woman to become president? Over their dead body, will they allow another person of color, so to speak, to become, a king or a ruler, so to speak, over their country? This is the way they will put it, right? So with all this happening, we already know that there's going to be all hell's going to break loose, or all hell can break loose behind this. Okay, depending on who gets put in office. All right, and E is using all this to his advantage as well. To create this whole order out of chaos scenario, because he wants this anyway. He wants society to continue to be broken down. He wants the society to continue in a way of chaos, so he can do what? So he can establish and bring in that order. All right, that's his whole plan. That's his agenda of what he wants to do. All right, now with that being said, we know sedition and rebellion is going to come from this, depending, and I say more of depending if Trump doesn't get elected, right? Now we'll see what all comes from this, but we know what's going to come from this is rebellion from the different Edomite parties, right? These different patriotic Edomites who is just waiting for something like this to take place, just so they can act out, which is going to lead to this. When we go to jump a verse above, verse 15, it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands." This is coming. Right now, you have a lot of it more of, being talked about, being, what's the word I want to use? Not paraded, but basically force is being shown within these different militant groups. Just to showing their power and their position that they have. If something doesn't go their way, of how they could easily come together or unify to stand against whom? The powers that be, right? The authority, the government, the military, to showing a force that they will not stand down, if something doesn't go their way. So now going back to verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So we're going to see this. We're going to have that, of different militia groups roaming the streets or standing ground in their different little territories, whether if it's in a city somewhere, whether if it's in the countryside somewhere, where they're going to say, this is our part of the country, and we stand on these different laws, principles, and amendments that y'all don't abide by, or y'all don't abide by of the Constitution, and we do. So this is how we're going to stand. And if you want to bring force, we're going to show force. You're going to see this happening, and this already has been shown in different TV shows or movies. We're actually going to see this. Okay, and we see different glimpses of these things taking place years before, right? So verse 17, which can lead to this: a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. I mean, you could have a situation where it's martial law. You could have a situation where there might be a outbreak. Many of different things where you just want to lock down the city to keep everyone, in certain areas. Okay, that's how it's going to be. All right. I mean, and that's just partial of the things of how that's going to be. Okay. One second. Let's see. Salakia. So that's just partial of how some things are going to be. Okay. We type this in. So verse 18, it says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, and no man shall have pity upon their neighbors, but shall destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation." So with all these things taking place, simultaneously, things are going to be bad out here in the streets for amongst the people. Okay, things is going to be real tight. We already look what we see what's happening right now. Look at the rate of homelessness. Look at the rate of people can't even survive for real. It's going to get down to the point where people are going to start what? Coming at each other. People going to house. People that used to be close friends and family members, they're going to start what? Coming against each other. Why? Because it's going to be because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. A lot of madness is going to be going on in the streets of Babylon the Great. Right? See, these are things that we have always been mentioning, and it's for us as, of the hopeful elect to continue to trust and have faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai as we, be amongst or in the midst of these things that's going to take place. All right, so I'll read that again, verse 19. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation." It's going to become a dog-eat-dog world out here, right? A lot of things is going to be taking place in the streets of America, Babylon the Great. A lot of things. It's going to get real hectic out here, And these are the things that we have been mentioning, or these things that we have been talking about, starting with the apostles and the elders, for what? For years. Okay? For years we have been talking about these things. So look, just be on the lookout, because it's going to get real chaotic in the streets of Babylon, especially with this up and coming election. So we're going to see. We're going to see. This very well may be the start, of the CIBILWAR. Okay, and the complete sedition and the rebellion of these different groups coming together, showing their force and their power that they will no longer abide by, the rules of the authorities that be, the kings and the princes, as is mentioned in the scriptures. All right, so complete rebellion, sedition, and WAR is coming to America, Babylon the Great. And I didn't even get to mention World War III. We know that's definitely taking place. But things besides that, Jacob's trouble, and all the other different things that's going to take place, that's all coming as well. All right, so get right to this plantation. That was just something quick through the spirit. Lord will edify. Until next time, I want to say shalom.